It's time for the KMDO Soapbox, a local call-in talk show that gives you the opportunity to voice your opinion about concerns on a local, state, and even national level. The KMDO Soapbox is streamed live on KOMB-FM.com and broadcast live only on KMDO AM 1600. The phone numbers to climb up on your soapbox is 620-223-4545, 620-223-4544, or out-of-town listeners can call the Soapbox toll-free at 1-800-569-1039. And now, here's today's Soapbox.
Well, it looks like the sun is doing a number on the little bit of snow we had fall overnight. It was cold coming out of the ball game last night. Then no snow I saw. I got up this morning at 4 o'clock to take the dogs out. They didn't want to go out. I didn't want to go out, but we trudged through anyway. Good morning. Welcome to the KMDO Soapbox. It is the area's only live local call-in talk show. Larry Gazaway, your host, and for the next 60 minutes, we're going to discuss what has become, surprisingly, a pretty hot topic here in the KOMB listening area, and that is the rolling flag that's in the rafters of the gymnasium at Fort Scott High School. A donation from a couple of local businesses that put that together, had it installed in the high school, and now some controversy surrounding the fact that the names of those donors' businesses are on that box, which when the flag is displayed is over the flag. So today we're going to be talking about flag etiquette. We're going to talk about the flag code. We're going to take your phone calls later on in this hour as well, but first we want to talk to a couple of people involved in this. Gary Billions, the USD 234 board member here in Fort Scott, he was the lone dissenting no vote on that when it came to the board a couple of weeks ago. We'll also be talking to Skitch Allen, who is the one of the donors that made that gift to the Fort Scott High School. Our phone number, write these down because you're going to want to call in, 223-4545. That's 223-4545, or you can call 1-800-569-1039. Those are the phone numbers that we answer during the program. That's 223-4545 or 1-800-569-1039. We also give you a couple other ways you can follow us on social media sites. Twitter.com/KMDO Soapbox. You can follow us there. We'll read tweets throughout the program this morning. You can also follow us on Facebook, Facebook.com/KMDO Soapbox. In my email, if you want to send something directly to me, and we'll read select emails throughout the program this morning, is Larry@KOMB-FM.com. It's Larry@KOMB-FM.com. All right, those are all the ways you can get a hold of us this morning as we talk about this rolling flag. And I don't know if you have been to the Fort Scott High School yet to see this. I know thousands have. It is, and I don't think, whatever side of this issue that you're on, I don't think there's anyone who says it is not a beautiful sight when this huge flag drops out of the rafters. It is breathtaking, to say the least. As last night, the flag was utilized before the big games with Chanute. And people, it was just an awesome sight to see that type of flag come down, and the patriotism that showed, the respect that's shown by the people that are attending those basketball games and wrestling events and volleyball, whatever they're going to be using that flag for. I think where the problem comes in, and honestly, I want to say something here. I tried to avoid this topic. I did not want to get into it. But a couple of things have kind of forced our hands, and that being the story that was on KOAM TV night before last, and the fact that the Tribune ran an article about dissenting thoughts about this, kind of put us in a position where this became a hot topic and perfect for the KMDO Soapbox. So that's why we are at this point here today. 223-4545 or 1-800-569-1039. Those are the phone numbers to call. All right, the flag was donated by Skitch Incorporated and also donated by Twister Trailer. They put this together, they built it themselves, and donated it to the school. Now, if this is purchased, this rolling flag that is installed in Fort Scott High School's gymnasium, the cost on that's anywhere from $6,500 to $7,000 for that type of mechanism. This is a mechanism, this is a device, this is a flag that is in many high school gymnasiums throughout the SEK and around our area. There is a rolling flag in the high school in Iola. There's a rolling flag in the high school in Chanute. and there is a rolling flag in the high school in Lewisburg, and there are thousands of these in high schools throughout the entire United States. So this is not a first-time thing. It is not something that is brand new, not something that we're breaking ground with here in Fort Scott. This is something that's been around for a while. In fact, I think this is my 12th season to call ball games, and I think a couple of these places, like Lewisburg, have had this rolling flag since I can remember. So they've been around for a long, long time. This donation was made. It was accepted by the school board with the well, actually, let's go back. It was accepted. It was installed, and then the logos were seen on it. They had to go to the school board. The school board accepted the gift with the advertising on it. Is how it was accepted. And then on the one no vote, people started complaining a little bit on Facebook, started complaining a little bit online about the fact that there was names of the two companies on the mechanism that holds the rolling flag. We wanted to go straight to the source, so we got a hold of Gary Billions, who is a member of the USD 234 Board of Education here in Fort Scott. We also got a hold of Kevin Sketch Allen, one of the donors that presented that flag to the Fort Scott High School. We had a chance to sit down with Gary Billions and talk to him on the phone just yesterday. And joining us this morning on the KMDO Soapbox, he is a member of the USD 234 Board of Education, Gary Billions. And Mr. Billions, good morning. It's good to have you here.
Good morning, Larry. It's very good to be here.
I'm glad you could take some time out to join us today. And you were the dissenting vote on whether or not to accept this gift of this flag for the gymnasium at Fort Scott High School. Can you tell us why you were the dissenting vote?
Well, my concern was not with the flag. What the donors have done in constructing a flag presentation is just tremendous. It's a beautiful presentation. It gives you goosebumps when you see it come down. My concern was the advertisement above the flag that's on the box that houses the flag when it's rolled up. According to the flag code adopted by Congress and originally signed by President Roosevelt, it said there should be no advertising on the staff or halyard that holds the flag, and we feel like the box that's there is the staff, so there should be no advertising, and there should never be anything above the American flag.
One of the arguments that people use in defending the fact that should be up there or could be up there is the fact that these rolling flags are produced by numerous companies throughout the United States and are hanging in gymnasiums that the Tigers go and play in every week. And those housings that hold those flags have advertisements on them, or maybe not advertisements. They have the name of the donor on there, whether that is a company or maybe in memory of. Do you think that all of those should be taken down in all those gymnasiums?
I think the advertisement should not be above the American flag. I think there are a lot of ways that we can recognize donors, and I'm more than happy to do that. In fact, I believe that they should be recognized for a donation of that magnitude. But there's got to be a better way than to place it above the American flag. I can't speak for everybody in other communities, but in our community, with the rich military history that we have here, with the fort and National Cemetery number 1, I feel it's up to us to respect the American flag and to follow the code of respect for the flag.
The flag code that you talk about actually alludes to the fact that there's no official rulings that are legally binding on civilians or civilian groups, and different interpretations of various provisions of that code can continue to be made. The flag code itself suggests that no disrespect should be shown to the flag of the United States of America. Do you believe that every time that flag drops out of the box right now for a Tiger game or wrestling, that it is being shown disrespect?
I'm not sure that I would say that it's disrespect. I think it's inappropriate. The code says that, on my spot here, advertising signs should not be fastened to a staff or halyard from which the flag is flown. The flag is flown from that box, and there should be no advertising there. I'd like to put it somewhere else, that advertising, and leave it up as long as that flag is up, which I hope will go on for many, many, many years to come.
Mr. Billions, one thing that's been said, and I don't know a good way to breach this, is that the relationship between you and Skitch Allen, who is actually the donor there, you have kind of a contentious relationship. Did your no vote play any into that as to not wanting that donation?
No, my no vote was actually precipitated by one of the other board members who asked Mr. Allen if there were veterans who were felt that this was inappropriate or they didn't like it, would he be willing to do some other type of advertising in the gymnasium or on the programs? And he said yes, he would. It just so happened that my vote was last that day, and I voiced my opinion as a veteran that I didn't like it. It should be done some other way, and I voted no. It wasn't for the flag, accepting the flag. It was for the advertisement above it.
Mr. Billions, it's with school budgets the way they are right now, the way that we're under a crunch financially, it seems like donations are going to play a bigger and bigger part as we move on with the budgets, with the school systems. Is there a limitation that you would see as a board member where donations would no longer be accepted for anything inside the gymnasium?
I think that's up to the board to make that decision. The board policy says that advertising on school property must be approved by the Board of Education. And this particular advertisement was approved by the Board of Education. I voted no just for my personal beliefs. I have been very well pleased at the feedback that I've gotten from the community and outside of our community. So I don't think that we're going to get away from advertising because of the tight budgets. But I also believe that it needs to be gone through by the Board of Education and make sure that it's appropriate and it's not offensive to anyone, and that we feel comfortable with it, or the board feels comfortable with it.
The issue of the flag is probably going to be revisited at the next board meeting on March the 3rd. Do you believe at that time the board will make a request for Mr. Allen to remove his name from that box?
I can't answer that. I have not had a conversation with another board member about this. So I really can't answer that. I don't know if it will be revisited. At this point, I've not heard any kind of statement that it would be put on the agenda. So I really can't answer that.
All right. Well, Gary, we appreciate you taking the time to be a part of our program this morning. Before you go, we want to thank you for your service to this country, and we appreciate our veterans very, very much. And you being a veteran, we appreciate you as well, and all the service you do for USD 234. Thank you very much. You're very welcome, and I appreciate what you said, and I appreciate the opportunity to voice my opinion on the advertisement, not the flag. The flag is wonderful, and I'm appreciative of Kevin Allen and Twister Trailers for bringing us such a wonderful gift. Gary, thank you for being here this morning. Gary Billions, our guest this morning on the KMDO Soapbox. And again, thank you to Gary Billions for taking the time to join us this morning on the KMDO Soapbox as we talk about the rolling flag that is inside the gymnasium at Fort Scott High School. Of course, Mr. Billions there, a member of the USD 234 Board of Education, according to that interview, has no problem with the fact that the flag is there inside the gymnasium. His problem is that he believes the way that he looks at the flag code is that there is a violation of the flag code by having the name Skitches Incorporated and Twister Trailer above the flag when it is lowered from the ceiling. Our phone number, 223-4545. We've had a bunch of calls already roll in this morning. We will not take your call until after we talk to Skitch Allen, one of the donors who made this beautiful flag possible inside the Fort Scott High School. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll spend 10 minutes or so with Skitch Allen and then take your phone calls. 223-4545. You can always send us a tweet, twitter.com/KMDO Soapbox or facebook.com/KMDO Soapbox, or send me an email, Larry@KOMB-FM.com. We'll be back with more of the KMDO Soapbox right after these messages.
Open Gangnam Style.
Welcome back to the KMDO Soapbox.
Gangnam Style.
On All Hit 103.9 FM, KMDO AM 1600 and Fort Scott TV at KOMB-FM.com. Today we're talking about the rolling flag that has been placed inside Fort Scott High School. A big donation from a couple of area businesses who took the time to put that together, built it, got the flag, installed it, then donated that to Fort Scott High School, which was accepted by the school board with only one dissenting vote. That has been placed inside Fort Scott High School. It has been used, I believe, on 3 separate occasions for basketball games. And the opening ceremonies actually were, there were some people from the VFW, the color guard there, came out. And I want to say, with them presenting the colors and that flag in the backdrop, it was breathtaking. It was awesome. It was awe-inspiring. Any words you can think of, because this flag is huge. I believe it's 18 by 12 is the size of this flag. It is huge and comes about 4 feet off the floor when it is unveiled. We've got some emails we want to get to in a little bit. We've got a lot of calls to get to. We want to spend 10 minutes or so here, though, talking to one of the donors that made this flag possible, and that is Kevin Skitch Allen. And Skitch, good morning. Good to have you here in the studio.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Larry. Wish I was here on better circumstances, but I'm here.
First, thank you for the gift to the Fort Scott High School. The flag, incredible. It's a beautiful sight when it drops out of the ceiling. Now, a couple of questions to get things started. What gave you the idea for this? And then who was involved in making this happen for the high school?
Yeah, well, thanks for the compliment. And first of all, the people that were involved in this was Twister Trailer, State Line Garage Doors. They helped us out a bunch. And, special thanks to the color guard for coming out that night and actually helping us install it. And I think the biggest thanks goes out to a kid named Skippy Williams. He's the brains behind the operation. He's the ones that figured out how to put it all together and everything. He works there at Twister with us, and it worked out real well. The idea came from when we was in Lewisburg this year at a volleyball tournament. We stood up to say the flag, or to sing the national anthem, and as we did, we're looking at the flag across the gym, an old, tainted flag over there, and all of a sudden this beautiful flag come dropping out of the ceiling. When it come down, there was 3 of us standing there, me and Eric Shoemaker and Jason Gorman, and we all just, our jaws just dropped how beautiful it was, and the hair stands up on the back of your neck, and so as soon as it got done, I looked up on it, and there was a phone number and of a company you could call with their logo and everything on it. And so I told him, I said, I'm going to call that company, and we called them and got some prices, and that real quick, like we decided we might be able to build one of them rather than buy one of them. And
right, because they're pretty pricey. They're pretty pricey units.
Yeah, that unit there is it's a $6,500 unit, and the flag I believe was 10 foot by 12 foot, and we decided we wanted to go bigger and better, so we built a 12 foot by 18 foot flag dispenser, but at that point I said, when I get back to town, I'm putting this thing together, and we're going to make this happen.
All right, so you got back, put it together, got it together. You make the donation to the high school, and when was the first red flag of, we've got a problem here because we've got the donors' names on this?
Right. Well, what had happened was the first time I mentioned it to the high school was in a site council meeting. I sat on the site council, and I told them, as well as Bob Beckham, that we were going to do this. And then I mentioned it to Larry Fink, and I told him how it was going to look and how it was going to, come down. And I was very clearly about what it was going to say on the box, because that's, the way I look at these on the internet, that's the thing. When the donor makes the donation, they get the privilege of putting up, whether it be Farmer State Bank proudly presents this gift to the Nevada Tigers or whatever. That's what they do. And every box we've seen has writing on it, whether it's an in memory of or Lewisburg Wildcats or the flag company's name or something of that nature. So this isn't something we invented. We just knew that that was protocol from the ones we had seen. So the first red flag came up as we get it up. They said it's got to be board passed because of the names on it. So actually, it had brown paper sacks over it before we could get the release. And then they had a meeting, and in the meeting, that's when all the hype started up about it being against flag etiquette.
Okay. All right, so that's when we first had it. Then the no vote by Gary Billions, the board went ahead and accepted the gift, took the paper bags off of it, and then on that, I believe it was a Thursday night game against Coffeyville, where they actually made the presentation. The color guard came out. Did you talk to some of the color guard that came in from the VFW here?
I did. That was one of our main concerns. Was we knew there was such a thing as flag etiquette, and we were aware of it. We thought there's no better person to ask than the VFW themselves. I mean, these guys know all about this. We had figured, and so we contacted the VFW. And that night that we took the contraption into the gym, two or three of them met us there, and actually stayed there and helped us install it. We put it up. We weren't able to get the flag to dispense that night because the garage door guy had to come in and do his magic to it, and he wasn't there that night. But the next day, and they said it was beautiful, it was going to be a great deal. And then the next day, went to the board meeting, paper bag still on it. Went to the board meeting, they approved it, went back, and then our garage door guy met us there, and I made sure to invite every board member there to the gym to watch it come down for the first time, the principals, everybody, and I invited the color guard back. I called the VFW, and several of them came out that day, and there was one of them in particular shed away some tears and said it's probably the most beautiful flag thing he had ever seen come down. And we asked each one of them personally, do you find anything on this offensive? I mean, we made sure, I and another board member made sure to ask each one of them, is there anything offensive? Now look at the names, look at the sponsors. Do you consider that the staff? No. They said we figure it to be a box that protects the American flag. And we wanted to make sure, because we knew the issue had arose at the meeting, that it wasn't going to offend our veterans, especially the ones that were coming out that night, as the color guard.
They were going to be standing in front of it, sure.
And we didn't know there was anybody bigger to ask than the veterans themselves.
Sure. Skitch, why did you do this? Did you do this for advertising purposes? Did you do this so you can haul a few more loads of dirt around?
Oh, of course. People? Yeah, that's exactly why. No, that's not why I did it. We thought about it shooting business cards out of the side of it, but no, we took that down. We did this. A lot of people ask me, they said, I know you did this for the right reason. I know you did this because you're a proud American. And I'll be honest with you. If I wasn't being honest, I would tell you that's exactly why we did it. But I did it I split it in three ways. I said a third of it was done because I am proud of my veterans. I'm proud of my country. I've got family members that passed away that have served in this fine country. Another third was because I'm proud of my school system. I'm proud of the kids that go through there and for the love of the game. I mean, that basketball, I've always loved. That's where my heart lies, is in that gym. And I've done a lot of things. I volunteered for 7 years at the grade school. I've done a lot of things to help these kids, and it's really neat to see them go through this. So the other third was for them, and the final third was because I'm proud of my own kids. I've got two girls, and I couldn't be more proud of a couple girls, and they're both athletes, and they went through there, and we took away some pretty good money from our family vacation little pot there to put in that deal, but that's what we thought was the right thing to do, and so a third of it was done for me and my kids.
When did you know there was going to be a problem? I mean, you like me. I didn't think there was going to be a problem, and the reason being is the history of what I have seen in other gymnasiums. I mean, you look at Iola, you look at Girard, you look at Chanute, you look at Lewisburg. All these places have names on that housing that holds the flag. Were you a little bit taken back when you heard that there was some concern?
Oh, I was completely taken back. I had no idea what was about to hit me. If I would have known that, I possibly wouldn't have spent all the evenings I did putting all this together. I possibly wouldn't have opened up my wallet and did everything that I did. I didn't realize that it was going to tear my town apart. I've done nothing but try to bring my town together, and I thought this was really going to be something to say, hey, thank you, and I appreciate it, and we didn't realize anything like that was going to happen. We thought the wheel had already been invented. We were just going to make the wheel a little bit better, mm-hmm. and give it and bring that great wheel to our town. So, no idea.
Your intent was not to go out and and make some veterans upset about
Absolutely
flag
not.
etiquette.
Absolutely not. We love our veterans.
All right, one more question, and then we'll let you get out of here. But what's your plans now? I mean, and again, this was something we didn't really want to jump into on the Soapbox, but with the thing in the paper, with the story that was on KOAM the other night, this is something that we're kind of like, this is a hot topic to talk about. So, where's the solution? What's going to happen? What's the end game on this?
Well, we've done a lot of flag research. I mean, last 2 weeks has been filled with phone calls to me and search on the internet and everything else about this flag etiquette and things of that nature. And what we found is that, flag etiquette basically has been broken in every way, shape, or form, whether it be, out of our city, in our city, right there in the heart of the city with some of the veterans' flags and things of that nature. We feel that we want a fair shake. I mean, that's it. That's all. The way I understood America was that everybody is treated on the same playing field, on a level playing field. And we feel like that if Chanute's doing it, if Iola's doing it, if Girard, whoever, Lewisburg, people all over the United States of America, you can get on the internet and see these things for sale everywhere. And we feel like we want to be treated just like them.
But kids, I'm going to interrupt you there. And this is what I always tell my kids. I don't care what people are doing in their house. I don't care what the other kids are doing. I care what happened in my own house. And do you feel like that's kind of what Fort Scott's taking a look at now?
Yes, I suppose that's what they're saying. We don't care about the other towns, but I guess I look at that in a different manner. I do care what happens in our town, but I don't just care what happens in our town. I care what happens outside of our town too, because I feel like it's the country. Sometimes in this issue with the American flag, it's the country that's being put up to the up on the questionnaire. And as a country deal, I feel like we should all be treated fair. So what's the plans? We're going to work with them. We're going to work with the board. That's the right thing to do, and we're going to do the right thing. We'll come to a reasonable solution, and if that reasonable solution is taking the names off, then we'll figure something out and go on down the road. We don't want to. We feel like that we're proud.
Sure.
We're proud to do that for our country, for our kids, and for everybody. And we're not happy that the whole town's in an uproar about it. But there again, in saying that, it's tough to back down on an issue like
Sure.
this.
One
really
quick question, and then we got to get you out of here. But do you think that if it said any other business on that housing besides Skitches, do you think we'd have the same uproar right now?
Oh, well, I believe everybody probably knows my answer to that. And that, I'm kind of what they call I shoot from the hip, and that's exactly my feelings. I feel like that if it, I could name some other businesses, but I'm not going to do that. But there's been other businesses and other people that have donated to this town for years and years and years, and they get nothing but praise and blessings for the amount of good work that they do. And then I go out and do something like this, and the first thing we see is controversy. I feel if there was a different name on that, there would have never been any sort of controversy at it. I mean, I've talked to some of the people that are involved in the, in the controversy part, and they say that, we're not, like you said earlier, we're not worried about what happens anywhere else. We're worried about what happens here. And I feel like if there would have been somebody else's name on that, we wouldn't be having this discussion right now.
Skitch, thanks for coming in today. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Larry.
Skitch Allen, one of the donors that helped make that flag possible at Fort Scott High School. Appreciate him taking the time to come in today. Also appreciate Gary Millions, board member from USD 234, making an appearance here on the program as well. Now, our phone number, 223-4545, 223-4545. It's time to hear what you think. We've got some emails to get to. We've also got a couple of tweets that we're going to weed through here to tell you what people are saying right now here on the KMDO Soapbox. 223-4545. Our phone lines are finally open, or 1-800-569-1039. We'll be back with more of our program right after these messages. Hey there, welcome back. This is the KMDO Soapbox, and boy, we have generated a lot of traffic online today about this subject that really is kind of split down the middle. Wow. We'll get to those in just a minute, but we've got phone calls that are racked up. That's what we want to hear from today, 223-4545. Both lines are busy, but we'll get to you just as soon as possible. Good morning. You're on the Soapbox. What's your first name and where are you from?
Oh, my name's Mark.
Mark, welcome to the program.
Hey, I think the flag display is very beautiful, very patriotic, and I do not see the names above it as a advertisement. I see them as proud donors. And I think as long as the flag does not touch the ground, there's nothing wrong with it. It is beautiful, and it is a great addition to our community. And thank you, Kevin Allen.
Thank you, Mark. We appreciate your phone call this morning. And good morning. You're on the Soapbox. What's your first name and where are you from?
Good morning. This is Daryl.
Daryl, good morning.
I would first like to thank Mr. Allen and Twister Trailers for that flag. I think it's a beautiful addition. I think that the people, I just believe that it shows our patriotism and our veterans saying that they think it's great too. I believe that we have the best in this community, color guard and everything that gives a salute to the final tribute to a veteran. And I think that is, with the flag in the gym, is one way of honoring those veterans.
All right, but you don't have any problem with the names being above the flag when it's dropped down?
I do not. I think they should know who donated that to this cause.
All right, Daryl, we appreciate your phone call this morning. All right, both phone lines open. I know a lot of people trying to get through this morning. Both phone lines now open. You can give us a call, 223-4545 or 1-800-569-1039. One of the emails that we have rolling in this morning says, I don't think there should be a problem with the donors' names being displayed on the box that the flag rolls out of. I was at Girard High School last night. They also have a rolling flag, and on their box is a sign that says, in memory of. For years, people have donated benches, scoreboards, pews in churches, parks, and hundreds of other things, all bearing the name of either in memory of or just using the person's name. It's a very generous gesture by these companies to pay for such a beautiful way to display our flag. This is not placing anyone or company above the flag. It's a box, nothing more. The flag is as perfect as it was made to be. There have been shirts, shorts, and heaven knows what else made of our flag, which to me is disrespectful. I have no problem with our flag being displayed in such a beautiful fashion. I don't believe these companies meant or mean any disrespect to our flag. And that's from the email bag this morning. Good morning. You're on the Soapbox. What's your first name and where are you from?
Hi, Larry. Arnold Schofield calling, sir.
Arnold, welcome to the program. Good to have you here today.
Thank you.
I would consider you a scholar when it comes to this type of thing.
Oh, you're most kind. Thank you.
What's your thoughts about this flag? You have seen it.
Yes, I've seen it. I think it's absolutely wonderful. I think it is just a great addition to the community, and I compliment the sponsors of the flag, each and every one, from Skitch Allen's Business to Twister Trailers to State Line Garage. Thank you very much.
And Arnold, what do you think about the names on the box that the flag rolls out of? Is that appropriate or is that inappropriate? Is it against the flag code?
Well, that's a loaded question. But I'll give you my perception and opinion, and that's what I think you're hearing from people is their perception of what the flag code states. And I personally don't have any problem with the names of the donors on the casing or the box that houses the mechanism, that the rolling mechanism that lowers and raises the flag. Now, if you considering the flag etiquette, and board member Bilius quoted the flag etiquette, and when it was established and signed by President Roosevelt, that was at a different time in our country, one. Two, at that time, I doubt there were any mechanized or rolling flag displays, and if one looks at the code of etiquette for the flag, you know, I don't want to quote everything, but it says, one, advertising signs should not be attached to the staff or the halyard. Well, we all know what a staff is. A halyard is simply a rope or line for raising and lowering the flag.
Mm-hmm.
And this flag, the way it's displayed, is the box or casing is outside of the internal mechanism which raises and lowers the flag. I mean, there's no advertising attached to the flag, and there's no advertising attached to the halyard that raises and lowers the flag. Now, that's perception. I understand that. But the mechanism that raises and lowers the flag could be considered the halyard or the staff, and there's nothing attached to it.
Arnold, how about the fact that the names are above the flag once the flag is completely deployed?
Well, if you look at the code, it says no flag should be displayed above it or the American flag.
Mm-hmm.
It says no flag. There is no flag being displayed above this flag. Okay. And I think if you read the code, and as that is written, no other flag or no flag should be displayed above it. Well, that's true, and it shouldn't be. It doesn't say anything about the donor names or anything like that. And I would suggest they're not really above it. They're probably parallel with the internal mechanism in that housing. So in a way, I guess that's my perception of the flag code as it applies to the rolling mechanism. Now, I'd offer this. There's only been one change, I think, in the flag etiquette since it was established by President Roosevelt, and that came as a result of a Supreme Court decision about burning the flags, during the Vietnam protests. But when this code was established, I would offer that there were no rolling mechanisms to display the flag, or not very many. But you asked my opinion, and that's my opinion. I think it's a wonderful idea. I have no problem with the names of the businesses being on the casing or box that houses the flag and the flag mechanism.
All right. Arnold, thank you very much. We appreciate you taking the time to call in at our program this morning. Arnold Schofield on the Soapbox this morning. From the mailbag, and I was just going to go to the next phone call. I was going to read this and go to the next phone call. Both lines are now open at 223-4545 or 1-800-569-1039. This from the mailbag. I think the flag is a wonderful thing. These guys are to be commended for the donation. But now I think they have received enough advertisement, good and bad, and I think the names need to come off. They should have looked into the rules for the flag. Also, I'm sorry you brought up the subject to Gary about his and Skitch's relationship. I think that was inappropriate. And I am sorry you didn't like the question, but a lot of people that I have talked to said that the relationship between those two may have been a reason that the no vote was made. So I thought it was a legitimate question to ask, and I'm sorry if you thought that was inappropriate. But thank you for listening. We appreciate that, and thank you for the email this morning. And good morning. You're on the Soapbox. What's your first name and where are you from?
My name is Sonia, and I'm from Fort Scott.
Sonia, welcome to the program.
I wasn't calling about the flag. I was calling to congratulate the Tiger Boys team on their win last night, being fresh onto the basketball. I don't know what happened to the original starting team, but I think the guys that went on and played last night did a wonderful job, and I wanted to congratulate them on showing that you don't have to be playing the full season and able to win.
All right, Sonia, thank you for your phone call. It was actually magical last night inside the Tiger Dome. It was awesome. Thanks for the phone call. Good morning. You're on the Soapbox. What's your first name and where are you from?
This is Brent, and I'm from Fort Scott.
Brent, welcome to the program. What's your thought about the flag?
Well, I just listened to Arnold, and he kind of voiced the thing that was my interpretation of the way the flag should be, displayed. But as far as like the halyards and the thing about the staff, I've seen churches with medals on them for people that have died and the families have donated flags. I've seen regimental colors from the Guard and Army units attached to the halyard riding up there by the flag.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen numbers of those. And then I spent a couple years, in the 102nd Armored Cavalry, and I also was with the Navy for 4 years on a destroyer escort. And I've seen flag with the commission and pennants up on the lanyards, too. So, but it's an interpretation of how the flag should be displayed. I think Arnold hit it on the head. That's really what it is. When the flag comes out, it comes out of a box. And anybody, in my interpretation, that looks at anything other than the flag when they're saying the Pledge of Allegiance, I'd be slapped in the head like Gibbs from NCIS.
All right.
You know, I've got a flag that's been on my side lawn at the 30 years that I've been up here in West Liberty, and I change it twice a year, and I keep it. And I'll tell you, it's the first thing I see in the morning and the last thing I see at night before I go to bed. You know, this is a great country, and that flag is the staff that is our interpretation of this country. I don't think anybody should look at the box. They should be looking at the flag.
Brent, first I want to say thank you for your service to this country. As with all the veterans, we love our veterans here on the Soapbox. And two, I just want to make sure that I'm getting this right. You have no problem with the donor's name being on the box.
No, I don't have a bit of a problem with it. I think, in all honesty, I've known Skitch since he was a young man, and I've known Skippy out of Twister Trailer. They're both, you know, straight-up kids. I'm 73 years old, so I can call them kids. But their heart was in the right place when they did it. I think people taking them to task because the suitcase the flag comes out of, you know, has got their names on it. I think they deserve their having names up there because they donated it, the time, the money, and they have, to me, you know, just the right feeling about why they did it.
All right.
I don't think they did it for any other reason other than the fact that, you know, we'd like to be recognized that we did this.
Sure.
You know, and I think they will live with whatever, you know, comes out of this. But I think anybody that spends their time looking at that box and not the flag is not a good American.
All right. Brent, thank you very much again for your service. Thank you for your phone call this morning on the Soapbox. Phone lines are now open again. 223-4545. You better grab one quick. Or 1-800-569-1039. We've only got a couple of minutes left in the program, so we need to hurry. We have got another from the email bag here. This one says, I can see both sides of the issue. I think my final opinions on the subject is that if it is a concern to any veteran, out of respect for all veterans and the flag itself, the advertisements should be moved. I don't see that it's that big of an issue. I think that if an issue is being made of it, then it is a bit petty. You cannot please everyone, that is true, but I think that every respect that can be observed should be. It goes on to talk about teaching our kids flag etiquette in the school as well, and thank you for that email this morning. And good morning, you're on the Soapbox. What's your first name and where are you from?
My name is Holly, and I'm from Fort Scott.
Holly, welcome to the program.
Good morning, Larry.
What's your thoughts about the flag inside the gymnasium at Fort Scott High School?
I think it is a wonderful addition to our community. Big thank you goes out to the donors. And what I want to suggest is what I try to strive for when working with my family and working with businesses and communities, and where a situation where everybody wins.
Mm-hmm.
What I would suggest would be to take off the business names and put the names of the personal donors. I think the issue is with the businesses using that as an advertisement.
Okay.
So if and our town is small enough, we know who the donors are and we know which businesses they have. But I think it would represent the donors themselves and not the businesses, and I think that's the major issue.
All right, Holly, thank you very much for your phone call. Appreciate it. Lots of phone calls today. Good morning. You're on the Soapbox. What's your first name and where you're from?
Brian.
Brian, welcome.
How are you doing? I'm a Fort Scott resident.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if this has been brought up yet. I'm in favor of the flag. I'm like a lot of callers. I think, the names are on the mechanism that drops it, not the flag itself. So I don't see the offense in it. And I don't know if this has been brought up earlier or not, but I happened to just do a little research on the company that makes these. And about 90% of the ones I found online all have some kind of writing on that box, whether it's a donor or Go Tigers, Go Bobcats, whatever the mascot might be. But it just seems to be the norm on all these flag mechanisms that there's some type of writing. Like I said, there's a lot of school mascots on them. They can go particular school, etc. So
you bet.
I just think it's been blown out of proportion. And
all right, Brian. And thank you very much. And I'm sorry I got a hard break coming up. We're going to have time for one more phone call, just time for one more, and that will come up right after our break. You're listening to the KMDO Soapbox on All Hit 103.9 FM.